one of the very, very few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.
All right, everybody. Hey, everybody. You're it. Renee, you're it. Are we in? Are we in the game?
We're in the game, and I'm it, and you're it. We're it. That's it.
We're on. We've made one more day around the planet that is trying to kill us. What's going on this week is, we're talking about these tornadoes and the cyclonic action and the reality of some certain doomsday prophecy coming right at. Now look at this day. Look at the number of this day. It's 13.0.11, 17. 17 is always a good one. And 13. So 13 on both ends of the date here. Okay.
And
So
why
11,
is 17? Why is
well,
17 good?
11.17 indicates how many days passed the date of our doom. Okay, because the date of our doom, the apocalypse, happened on 13.000. 0000, 4 zeros. That was the day, okay, the apocalypse happened. What happened that day is that we ended a cycle and we're into a new territory of really borrowed time. So everyone is dead man walking right now. So every day you get alive is just another gift. So don't forget to be grateful and start out by playing the whole earth game. Check your stuff. Do you have a house, place to sleep, water, food, energy? If you do, if you say yes to any of those, then you got to go out and do something, which is to be one of two things, and that is the hammer or the nail. Which are you going to be today? Are you going to be the hammer or the nail? And that is the question. So, in a situation that I'm in right now, I can be looking very, very optimistically at what the future holds for me. As what's going on today is we had a transformation in our family. My daughter and I decided to work together and see things, and she said, I'm willing to work with you, Dad, and she's going to hire me as a consultant. I like that. So we're going to go with reclaimed threads, but her reclaimed threads came directly. Now we're sitting on the couch when she was little and going to soccer practice, and then we were watching Project Runway, and Heidi Klum is one of our major influences. So if anybody's watching, Heidi, we want to come show our stuff to you. It's all inspired by Heidi Klum and Project Runway and a little girl and a dad who said, we can do this thing. Now she's come on and really moved forward in her little company called Reclaim Threads, but the Reclaim Threads really harkens back to this idea of use less, waste none. So as we're seeing the old being ground up in front of us, we are seeing a chance for us to redesign the future. And that's what occurred to me today. So if you are playing the game and you know what's going on, we always keep a positive outlook. We always see possibilities coming our way. And we're happy to take this opportunity to find a new way. So the goal is to, when you're given lemons, what happens when you're given lemons, Renee? What do you do with that?
You've got to make lemonade.
You add a little sugar, right?
Yeah, there you go. Some water, some sugar.
Some good water. You got to add water because by itself it's just lemon juice and it's too nasty. But if you add some water and a little bit of sweet, you can make lemonade. And now, not only is that, I mean, if you make it with honey, then you're actually making some really amazing superfood.
Yeah, and good for your immune system, for your body. It's very healthy.
Look very carefully. Wait a second. So I'm going to get careful. So the new house that we're going to be doing is going to be we have to stay in the place that we're in. it's occurred to us that we're not going to get a better neighborhood in Florida. So moving is out of the question. Before we were talking about, oh, saving things, and I thought there was going to be a dumpster. We paid people to come in and destroy our house. We paid quite a bit of money to have people come in and completely destroy our house, if you know what I mean. So they had to cut the drywall to like 2 feet, and then took out some flooring, and then put it all in the, I guess it's all in the driveway, because they were supposed to have a dumpster show up, but it never did, of course, because they were all out, and the guy kind of lied to move the job along and was kind of pushy. So we paid our first shyster, and we just got him off the job. And now we have materials all over our front lawn. So luckily, I got a call from my girl, and she says, Dad, we got to look at this stuff differently. We got to start separating the piles. We have some really interesting wood there. We have some really cool cypress that we want to take and use. It's all been treated, hand loved and treated. There's some boards there that are great boards. They're good shape. Haven't done anything. A little wet, but I treated them for wetness. And but we're going to take those. We have to take this house apart, like stick by stick, in order to use that wood in the next project, which is to get rid of everything else and then take the thing down to with a bulldozer, get the ground level and nice, and then we're just going to hook up the sewer. But the whole thing is going to be in the likeness of the whole Earth game. So this is the good news: is that we're going to use containers, which are seaworthy, commercially strong shipping containers. And there's going to be more on that. I will get, for next week, we will have a full review of the kind of thing we're talking about building back at St. Petersburg. And I can't wait to share that with you. So, but know that there's another storm coming. So, I mean, that was the thing that occurred to me, is like, okay, this is the second storm and it's historic and it's the biggest thing, but we're early in the season. And sure enough, there's another one brewing at the Yucatan, and that might be doing our damn, But we have a stalwart house. The house that we have is going to be fine, and the roof's good. And the roof's good enough to withstand it, and it's just tight asphalt shingle. It's nothing major, but there's no loose spots or something that we haven't been up on the roof, so I really don't know, but that doesn't look like anything. So we're looking at that. So we're going to build back better. It's going to be off the grid. It's going to have its own thing. It's going to have an elevator. The elevator is going to store the energy for the house, and then the house is going to run off the batteries in the elevator. And then when those are topped off, we're going to sell that back to the grid and make a few dollars, or we can just use the energy for ourselves for some other way, But that's the goal, is to be off grid, except for we need our connection to the internet so we can be on the internet, so we can have these conversations moving forward. So let's see what else happened politically. I mean, Trump is really, so here's the thing, I think I've never believed that this guy could have 50% of the vote. I cannot believe that my friends out there, that there are 50% of the people who really just want to throw this, way of life into the shit can based on the rule of some completely insane nightmare madman. And I'm picking, I guess they're picking up some more, purge MAGA. If you need to cut that out, I mean, how simple can it be? I definitely want to throw in a little nod to the Third Reich and the purge of Stalin and the purge of, all those. The purge of just recently, our guy in Korea did a purge. So we have to purge MAGA in order to save our republic, our democratic republic, and we've got to look a lot like Law and Order at the end of the game. If he gets elected, that means everybody goes free. We're just going to run, like, literally. You're letting the lunatics out of the asylum. I have no idea what that is going to do for anybody. It's not going to do anything for anything or anybody. It's going to be really weird. So what do you think, Renee? Oh,
Well,
I don't. How about you? You feel like any more optimistic today than you did last week about
I
what's happening in the world today?
well, I just can't tell, we have genocides going on. Here's what I feel. I feel like so much is in turmoil right now. I'm just hoping that the right person can get into the White House and start to change things, because it feels like we are way overdue for taking certain things seriously. I mean, obviously Gaza, all the stuff going on in Ukraine. It's just a lot to process right now. So I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic, maybe. I think that the polls are really strongly in Blue Tsunami's favor. They're consistently showing that way. However, I do want to say, and this is true, people can Google this. The other day, it was announced and released that for the first time in a really long time, there were more registered Republican voters than Democrat voters. So I don't know what that means. I don't know why the polls are going strongly for blue, and yet there's still that statistic out there. So I think that's what's bothering me this week.
Okay, but here's the thing. All right. You're really telling me the country is divided into Republican and Democrat 50-50?
That's what I mean, that's literally what they say. I don't know how to process that, because it's weird. Like,
It
where
seems
are
like
those people?
that seems like part of a script to me. Like when it's
Maybe.
neat and tidy, it feels like it's part of a script where it's so neat and tidy.
Yeah.
But it seems like it should be already like but they can't see they're controlling the narrative in order to control the narrative.
Mhm.
The truth is, most people do not want to have Donald Trump as president, period.
That's what I believe. That's what I believe. But so if
Maybe
he
50% of those who are, I guess, if there was ever a sane Republican since George Bush took office,
Mhm.
then I don't know. But they thought they were on some kind of left right thing, even though they were they were always working against the people.
Right.
All this time, they were working against the people in order to get power to the oligarchs and to make it possible for Koch brothers and sludge oil to still be available in an environment where that's like one of the worst offenders.
Mhm.
And somehow that's okay still, which should have been ruled out years ago because just for the sake of the planet. But it wasn't because Bush was in charge and oil was running the show, and the dirty U.S. oil was running the show.
Mhm.
They
Right.
had to get rid of dirty oil. You have to use it somewhere. So they used it into this shipping industry where nobody was really looking. And they basically wrote their own check, even if I don't even know. It's like they were willing to put out so much energy to get this small amount of energy back. It really makes you think, like, what was the point? And then you realize it's something to do with just pure power. So it's just about pure power. And I guess that's according to George Orwell and, those guys. But
What
anyway,
Right. Well, one of the things that bothers me though is that, well, let me just say another thing, because you were talking about, is it possible that literally 50 or even above 50% of Americans are,
I can't believe that these people really want to throw in they shit can the entire way of life.
yeah. But then I go back because I have PTSD from the 2 elections ago, and I felt like we all were on the same page when Hillary was running, and I thought Hillary was a shoo-in. I mean, I even went to bed. I just thought it was such a
Hillary had
slide.
such weird energy coming from Bill. She could not really
Okay.
sustain the integrity needed to get past. See,
Yeah.
got bullied out of it, but it was like it was okay. That's another inside thing. Okay, like we let you run, but don't think we're going to let you win.
Right, right. Yeah, that was very obvious to me in retrospect. Like, not at the time, but in retrospect.
And
Yeah.
they're thinking, okay, so let's shake up the deck. Let's go all in on this thing. It's like Russian roulette. They let Trump win that thing the
Right.
first time, knowing he would never leave. They already had him figured out. They needed a patsy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Part of a long con. And the Cheneys are definitely in on it. Like Liz Cheney, don't think for a second that she's somehow a good guy looking for. She is just trying to
Yeah.
exonerate and completely wipe out. Like if she can manage to keep her head up in this next cycle, which she's gonna, okay, because that's how you know. When you saw that smirk on Cheney's face,
Yeah.
that means it's a fucking rigged deal.
Yep. That's what makes me frightened, though, because it seems like since so much gets rigged, but I don't want to bring the fear, I don't want to bring the fear here because I think you have a good point when you say that the fear mongering actually works against us and it can become a self fulfilling prophecy. So I don't want to feed into that. That's feeding, the wrong
Okay,
direction.
so the fear is feeding into it, but knowing it is the way to dissipate the fear. Okay, you have to
Right.
see the thing that's. If you see, I mean, fear is what it is. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, okay. So I believe the same guys that wrote the script now are willing. Okay, that's why he's okay. Here's to assuage your fear because I think you're right. Fear is not the way. We should be all afraid. We're not in control of this thing. Okay. It's not, it's not bad to be, feeling your heart and knowing, okay, some stuff like this. All right. I mean, whatever comes on, we're gonna do, do the thing that we have to do in order to make a better thing, right? Because the thing we're gonna do is we're gonna find a place to live, we're gonna find clean water, we're gonna find good food, and we're gonna make that possible. And we're gonna have 120% being made by our house moving forward. We're not going to rely on anybody for what we need anymore. We have to take full responsibility for our own little cabin in the woods. Okay. So the next thing is container housing that's going to survive the next category 6, 7, 8 hurricane hitting us full on because it's not going to end. This is going to be a cycle that's going to repeat itself until we're going into the pole shift. This is moving the pole shift faster. And the reason it is because we're getting hit by so much energy from all sides. We're getting hit from the sun. It just had 3 CMEs. I was trying to explain to that woman earlier, that the mechanics of it are that we're getting hit by energy. And the way the energy is dissipated is through swirling masses of water we call hurricanes. They're vortex energy, you see, and it's pushing down. You're literally seeing a bullseye. Now, if you look at the world, can you go to windy maps and bring them out here just for fun?
You know what's so great is I literally was typing in windy when you said that. So yes, I have it right now. I mean, great
Okay,
minds think
let's
alike. This is
go.
literally it. Yep,
You
here
are
it is.
that person. Okay, now look at all the red. Let's go around the world. Let's start with Florida, since that's what we're focused on.
Okay,
That's
so
not that's Africa. I see. This is all
yeah, we're
going
we're
down.
we got to go this way. Hold on, we got to go
Oh,
all the way down here.
oh.
Wait, we're almost there. We're in Atlanta right now. Okay, here we go. Now we're in Florida.
Okay, let's go out. Let's pan out.
Okay, so we're
Have
panning out other direction. Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Now look what's going on up in Greenland. That's hot water up there, and it's melting the ice caps. Okay, keep going around.
Wow.
Go
Wow.
one direction. Keep just going one direction. Keep going
Okay.
around. Now, I have this on the Dymaxion map at one point.
Yep.
As soon as we figure out that to do, we're going to be able to see this a lot clearer. So this is up in the North Pole.
Yep.
Slide over. No, don't go out. Don't go in yet. Keep going. Get the big picture. Let's find out where the red is going. That's up in the. Okay, look at all the hot water swirling around Alaska right now.
Gee whiz.
Okay, look at all the hot water in the North Sea there again. So now let's go down to the bottom.
Did you expect to see that much heat up north?
Yeah, this is what's going on. You see
This
the
is
South Pole.
crazy.
Look at the South Pole.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
goodness.
what's going down there? This is all taking. Don't not too far down. But there you go.
Yeah.
Right there. slide across around. Look, just go around Antarctica and see. Look, there's another one. There's another one. That's all warming up the southern ice cap.
Goodness gracious, this is
Warming up
terrifying.
the southern ice cap. Okay, I mean fear. Like let's go down to the pole, South Pole, and just look at the South Pole.
Yeah, just keep going. If we
Drag it over. It's just going to drag over. Just
Okay,
let's
that's as much as it goes down. That's as south as it goes.
map so that we can see this in a real accurate thing without the land masses getting in the way.
Right. Yeah.
But see, this is what's happening in the world now. This is because the sun is hitting us directly with so much energy. Now pull out so we can see the rest of the world.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Doing it now. Wait.
That's the end.
Wait. I know. Just all right. This is as far out as we go, apparently.
Let's go back up to Florida.
So now let's go back to Florida. I mean, I'm kind of in shock right now. I'm glad we did this, but honestly, I did not expect to see this level of heat.
Well,
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's Florida.
So now we're cool in Florida, and then there's another. Go up a little bit into the Yucatan.
Okay. The other direction.
Other way. Up.
Yep.
Slide everything up. That's not the Yucatan. You know where Yucatan is? In Mexico.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking of Yukon territory. Sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, here
so
it is.
Right
Yeah.
there, right there on the other side of the Pacific. Now that looked a lot nastier a couple of hours ago.
Really? Okay.
So it looks like it's calmed down. I'm sorry, I want coffee.
It's okay.
No, anyway.
So Tampa's 71 degrees right now, and Jacksonville is 66 degrees in Jacksonville. That's pretty cold for Jacksonville.
It's just a bit, but they're loving it, man.
Wow.
Getting some cool air finally.
Yeah, I see that.
It's 70 up where you are. Like what is it like when you step outside?
No, it's in the 40s. Yeah, here it's in the 40s.
It's up in the 40s.
Yeah, it's cold up here right now. That's why I'm surprised to see all the heat that's coming.
That's a different type of thing. So the pole is moving. Now, if we go to suspicious observer.
Okay, so let's do that next. Let me pull this down.
3 minutes we can walk around. I'll cough myself to another coughing nail. I want to go get another. And then
suspicious observer, okay?
Watch this, and then we'll finish up with a little recap. So it's just how much can we control is the question.
Right?
Not much.
Not very much, and that's kind of a scary thing for me I'm having that realization right now more than usual because of what we did with Windy, and just seeing the amount of heat that's coming into our planet is just disturbing to me. And then Trump is there denying that climate change is even real.
Hey, look, there must be, remember, when we signed that we have to take full. Okay. We don't want to talk this way, but if we don't, we're missing our chance.
Okay.
The chance is to take control of our own destiny and be happy with whatever we get. It's part of it. Like we signed up for this. We want to be reaching. Look at October 13th. What? 10/13.
Wow.
Crazy day on a Sunday.
Giving us a little
look at that.
Earthquake, galactic violence, planetary geometry, and the magnetic pole shift. But we are starting with a very quiet last 24 hours on our star. No significant solar flares or coronal mass ejections. Solar wind and geomagnetic conditions at Earth are quiet. Big filaments, but they are remaining fairly stable at the moment. There are no solar wind disruptions on their way to Earth right now, and while we don't necessarily expect any to happen today, we'll of course be monitoring these sunspots for activity while they are on the Earth-facing half. No bigger spots incoming right now. Top quake of the day, 6.2 that luckily struck offshore near Costa Rica, far enough into the water that the shaking on land does not appear to have produced any significant damage. Up next, astronomers are spotting X-ray flickers from an active galactic nucleus, and while it's too far away to directly visualize, they are guessing that the data indicates that a star got too close to the galactic core and was torn apart. They say they think there's enough data to suggest that they captured the destruction of one star and the beginning of another taking licks right afterwards. Interesting paper up next, a preprint on Research Square, indicating yet another significant identification of planetary geometry and its influence on earthquakes. This study takes the gravity approach, which isn't my favorite, but still allows them to conclude that the combined forces of planetary geometries could exceed the moon's influence on the Earth's interior in some circumstances. Last but not least, folks, I do not know why scientists are so obsessed with sonification these days. Here, they wanted to do it for the model of how Earth's magnetic field flipped long ago. The visualization is pretty cool, I must say, especially with how well they show the chaos in the magnetic field during these excursions. They correctly describe how the magnetic field weakened to only 5% of its normal strength, allowing more cosmic rays to enter the atmosphere, which have been shown to have dramatic consequences for the climate, bodily radiation dose, and more. It's why these events, like the one unfolding now, are so dangerous for life on Earth. Observers who came out to the ranch yesterday, it was great to see you. Our first class on prepping and survival went well, and so did our Q&A afterwards. The next event is technically my birthday party on the 19th, but I will be answering questions and discussing the recent science developments on the magnetic pole shift. It's a working birthday. Link below, and don't forget, Conference Style returns next month. Been 4 years since our last one. Come see us, observerranch.com. We greatly appreciate your support.
There you have it. Now, if you stay with Ben and then you know. Now, that little pulsar, did you see that? We saw the end flash of a star as it was being sucked into the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Now, if you're familiar with quantum physics, then you know if we saw that, it affected us. By seeing that is just that one little tick. If you watch that video, if you want to go back and watch it for yourself again and again and again. But if you saw that, that means that you got hit by that light. And now we're getting hit by all kind of energy. So that's what's going on here. So remember, we're talking about we signed up to be here for this particular time, for this particular ride. So whatever comes our way, just know that you asked for it. What? You asked for it. So the best way to handle that is to just say thank you. Okay. So what do you think? You're not going to go for that, are you, Renee? You're not going to say thank you for this bull.
Well, no, I
Bull,
mean,
you know?
I'm a very grateful person generally, but what I've been wanting to say since you've introduced me to Suspicious Observer, and then at the beginning, you were talking to somebody about the importance of the sun and these solar flares. I just have to say that my ignorance of those type of things and my being a neophyte here, I think is pretty normal. I think most people are not thinking about these things. I know I certainly never was. What is the importance of the sun and these solar flares, and what control, if any, do we have over that?
See, I'm just going to go with like the standard, how to change the brain chemistry is to simply don't go there with any kind of fear, as you were talking about. Go in as a suspicious observer. Be suspicious about everything. Be skeptical about everything that comes your way, and then ask your heart, how does it feel? And so it feels to me like that makes a lot of sense to me, and I like the idea that I am in control. Where I'm in control is how I use my demeanor moving forward. Like, do I keep a jolly, view of things, or do I get discouraged and downhearted and want to go and whine and cry and different things? So, but tonight we're going to go play music over at a open mic. We're going to introduce me and Johnny. You're going to go and play hi-hat and snare. It's going to be fun. And you're not invited. Ha ha. It's going to be secret. But anyway, next time on this last week on One Whole Earth. Now, are you playing the game? Ask yourself, a place to sleep tonight. Thank you. Housing. Yay. Water. Clean water to make coffee. I got it. Thank you. Something to eat? Yep. Thank you. Gives me the energy I need to come and talk with you about how we're going to get through the next day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. A few kind words is all we need to get past even the roughest day. Even the roughest day. The power is in a few kind words. See you next time.
Oh, wait, real quick, can we read this this comment that just came in? Can we read that?
Let's keep
Um,
going. Dennis, how
so
are you,
um,
buddy? Come on in.
so he says if anything major happens with the sun, you wouldn't know it for like 8 minutes, and then depending on how severe it might be, too late. Oh my goodness, I hadn't even thought of that, but yes, of course, right?
Of course, it
That's
comes at the
true.
speed of light, you know. And then
Right.
to take, well, it's not going to take very long. Well, okay, so here's what's been going on. It's like, where, as the sun spins, does that ejection happen? You know, luckily, we haven't had a direct full hit yet, but we're coming. It's getting closer. The last one was very close. These last three, and you see what happened. They sent charge in, you know, it took a day or two. Actually, if you go to Ben, so he'll show you when it happened. He says, okay, it's coming in, should be coming in like in a day. So he's trying to give us as much warning as we can get. So if you watch Ben Davidson and Suspicious Observer, I think you'll find you have, but what are you going to do with that information? You and I can talk about it, but it's just going to happen. We're not going to have enough time to get anything done. No one's really taking it seriously either. So our grid, that's why we want to be off the grid and self-sufficient as much as possible, because we can handle, if we have the batteries in our own house in order to do the thing, and we have enough energy, 120%, to run our house for however many days we think we're going to be without sun and in a hurricane. That's our goal. I think, you know, something like 3 or 4 days. And if you can't see the sun after 4 days, it's going to be very interesting. You know, it takes 3 days of darkness, right? 3 days of darkness, and we move into a full-on ice age. Did you know that, Renee?
I
Sorry.
did. I didn't know that, but it's like just in the course of this one episode, I think it's funny how I'm having an existential moment because we watched Windy. If people are tuning in now, go back and press the replay button because you want to be able to see this, windy.com, and seeing all of the places that I would have thought would have been totally frozen being so warmed with heat. This is what's melting the ice caps. This is what is causing these hurricanes, one after another, after another, after another. This is traumatic for the planet and traumatic for humanity. And now we watched
Slowing down.
Suspicious Observer. Yeah, same thing.
That's it. Because the more fresh water in the oceans, the slower the Gulf Stream. The slower the Gulf Stream, the longer the storms. The longer the storms, the more energy they pick up. But they got to have the energy first. So they don't just, they do go through to calm. If you get just the least amount of solar energy, it moves into a vortex and then spins until it finishes up. Because, well, see, this is what Ben Davidson is talking about, because there's a release from our planet. It's having a conversation. There's an actual conversation with our planet and the sun that we are now just getting to know about. I just saw the other day the conversation between a whale and its mother. A whale calf being born and its mother having a conversation that any human being can empathize with if you have empathy. You could see them having a conversation and know exactly what the words were. Isn't that the craziest thing? Elephants do that too, by the way. Whales, elephants, and human beings are the only ones that have this ability to empathize. Think about that for a minute. So, a lot to think about. Let's get through the next week together. A few kind words. The trick, the real magic, is in a few kind words. Thank you.
You're one of the very, very few people getting this message.